we give you the option.
Welcome to the option. I'm your host, James. With me, I've got Phil.
What's up, everyone?
And Nick.
How's it going, everybody?
We're missing Frankie and Sam tonight, but that's okay. We're going to hold the fort down. This is our second episode, gentlemen. Welcome back. How you guys doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Doing well. I will say these little hello prompts are a little awkward. Like when you say, I have Phil, and then you stop and expect me to say, hey, everyone. I'm just like, whoa, I wasn't really expecting that. It still throws me off. I think it's the weirdest thing about being on a podcast for me still. It's just a little introduction. It feels so weird.
I could skip you next week and we just go straight into it without you
pretend I'm not even here.
If that helps, I can do that. So
a good one. That's a good idea. I mean,
but no,
you just jump in and start talking with people randomly when we get into the conversation. That's fine if that's what you want.
Last week was a lot of fun, though. I'm glad to be back and looking forward to what we have this week.
Well, I mean, because the other guys weren't here, I had no choice but to keep you. So that's kind of why we decided to.
Savage.
I mean, no, we wanted you here. Yes, we wanted. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
I think, Phil, if no matter who said that line, if it was me or you, he would have had the same comeback.
100%. They're almost canned sometimes. You can see them coming.
You guys have definitely hung around me way too long. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about football. Gentlemen, what a week we just had. How did you guys do in fantasy and whatnot?
Oh, I was horrible this week. Nick, tell us how awesome you did.
I did great. I only lost one league. It was fantastic. A lot of scary Monday nighters that I thought I was going to lose again, but then, actually some Monday helped me out, and I just had a great week overall. So I was excited with what I did this week.
Nice. I went 10 of 12 winning, so I'll take it. Unfortunately, the two that I lost in were the ones that I really hoped I win in, but that's okay. So I'll
beat you in one of those.
Yes, that was one of them. You beat me in. I mean, I was playing with a depleted lineup. There was not much I could do. So I'll take it and we'll go forward with that. But actually, I looked at this week's lineup for that same league and it's even worse than it was because of the bye week. So it's just injuries are all over the place. It's a mess.
Yeah, I own way too many 49er and Saints players. So I had an early week of death. And now I get to go into the actual week of death and probably have two horrible weeks back to back. So I went 2 for 7 this week, which was absolutely awful. And my rosters don't look much better between injuries and the infinite amount of buys we have going forward.
Yes, this bye week 7 is a crazy one.
I'm hoping I'm playing people that are going to struggle as much as I do with the buys. At least maybe there's a chance I can pull off a few wins.
I think in one league I'm facing Nick, and I believe his entire starting roster is on the bench.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm playing my B squad, man. You got the whole bench team out there. And we were looking at the roster the other day, and he's like, oh, yeah, we play next week. I remember you have nobody. I'm like, what? So I go look, and I'm going, okay, so my number one running back, gone. Okay, great. Running back number 2, gone. Okay, great. Wide receiver number 1, gone. Okay, great. And it just keeps going, and I'm like, who am I going to play this week?
And I'm on the other side saying his number 1 RB is gone. Yes. His number 2 RB is gone. Yes. Number 3 gone. It's perfect. I was like, this is amazing.
Ridiculous.
And with the luck I've been having, Nick, you're probably still going to end up beating me with whatever scrubs you put in there because my stars that are supposed to go off are not going to go off. So don't worry. We should be okay.
You wait. When Jamal Williams and Ronald Jones have a big day this week, you'll be sorry.
I mean, it's a nice problem to have. All of my amazing players are just not performing. Oh, no.
Sometimes depth is a killer because you make the wrong choices.
Sure, you don't know who to start. Yeah. You overthink things, different matchups and whatnot. I mean, I'm in one league where I have literally nobody good on my team. So I'm just picking up waiver wire plugins and they go off one week. I'm just like, amazing. I went from 0-3 to 3-3 with nobodies.
Yeah, that's the league I'm talking about. That I've got all the superstar guys on my team and I'm 2-4 and you're 3-3. Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
Nonetheless, let's move into what happened in week 6. Let's get into talking about it. So, what did we start off with? I can't remember what happened on Thursday.
And Philadelphia. Thursday, Tampa, Philly.
Yep, that was the
Yes,
game.
we did. And Tampa Bay won 28-22. This one was a fun game. Let me say fun. It was good watching some of my players from Tampa Bay go off because I did start guys such as Leonard Fournette and Tom Brady. So that was fun to see. But on the Eagles side, if you started anyone other than Jalen Hurts, I don't think it was fun to watch on your end. Gentlemen, what did you think of this game?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much exactly what you just said. Fantasy-wise, I wasn't really thrilled about it because, I mean, Leonard Fournette pretty much had all the points, so that kind of threw me off because I don't own him much. It's just same old story with Philadelphia. I don't think they're just ready enough yet, even with Jalen Hurts playing somewhat decently. I just don't think they're capable of doing much this season.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough matchup for Philadelphia, obviously taking on the Super Bowl champions. The game was really slow going. Brady actually had a modest statistic night, fantasy-wise anyways. They're still putting up 500 yards a game because that offense is phenomenal. And Philly absolutely had no answer for them. I mean, the one bright star is Jalen Hurts, who continues to be pretty much fantasy-proof. You can play him week to week without having to worry about him putting up a 8-point or a 12-point showing like Justin Herbert this week, which we'll get to later.
and for the record, the lone wolf, which was Frank, who decided to go with Philly, lost, and the rest of us got this game right. So I think that was, it was a good start to the week on a Thursday.
I think Frank might have had the spread on the brain when he made that pick because it was 7.5. And it was close.
I don't think so. He knows it was a pick for the win. I don't know what he was thinking.
So we'll have to find out next week.
He has a lot of Jalen Hurts shares, and I think he thought for some reason they were going to win.
Oh, so it was bias. He was hoping.
Yes. So, all right, let's get into Sunday. So Sunday morning, we had another early game. I don't know if you guys woke up early enough to watch this. I was up early thanks to my kids, so I was able to catch a few of the highlights of this one, if there really wasn't much on this one. But the Dolphins and the Jags were playing in London. It was an all Florida matchup there in London. It was nice to see. And the Jaguars came out with a win on this one. Surprised the heck out of me because I did not see that coming. I was the only person to take Miami. I took them in the spread. I took them all over the place. It was one of those ones. Although they had a chance for it, but I don't know if you guys watched any of this. But there was a play, and I was at Nick's house. We were watching this, and Miami had just got a fumble, recovered the ball. And Tua takes the ball. His first throw, he pump fakes and then throws it deep down the sideline. I swear to God, Phil, there was not a single Miami wide receiver in the area. There was only a Jacksonville guy, and it went right into his arms, and he ran it back the other way. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I think he even surprised the Jacksonville players. Like, oh, look what I got.
I was dumbfounded just looking at the screen. My brother's laughing his head off, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, this is unreal. And yeah, this was what he did. I mean, I was just like, why? And so anyways, they ended up losing the game on a late field goal, and good for Jacksonville. They finally get their first win. And
yeah, I really enjoyed the game personally. I mean, it's Miami and Jacksonville, so you kind of got to motivate yourself to get involved. So I got up in the morning, I made myself a coffee, sat down with my wife, who's really getting into football now because I enjoy it. And I give her a little synopsis. I'm like, hey, look, it's the Battle of Florida. Hey, look, it's in London again. And Jacksonville's kind of the honorary home team of London. Jacksonville's lost 20 straight games. Let's cheer for Jacksonville, babe. She's like, okay, let's do that. So we're sitting there watching the game, which was not a good game. I mean, Miami was missing their two top corners, so they did struggle against a weaker Jacksonville team. That was probably the difference. And you saw some big field goals by Right. And at the last minute, Jacksonville pulled it off, and I celebrated. Why? Just because. Like, yay, Jacksonville, you did it.
At least someone celebrated, and I mean, all of Jacksonville did, so that's good. But yeah, so fantasy-wise, I know that Marvin Jones had a big game here as well, and this one for us. I ended up picking him up on waivers in a league last second, and we were in a league, me and Nick together, and Nick's looking at me like Marvin Jones, and I'm like, yeah, I think he's going to be okay today. What did he finish with? 22 points and a half-point PPR. It was a good week.
Yeah, those receptions go a long way.
So James Robinson had a good game, 73 yards and a TD. Mike Gesicki, 115 yards receiving. I mean, aside from that interception, Tua didn't do too bad. 329, 2 TDs. He was okay. He finished well, in the 20s for a quarterback wide. So he was okay. It was just that cost me the game and my point spread. But other than that,
I didn't like that they made him throw so much. There wasn't enough rushing attempts.
I don't think they have any faith in Gaskin. I don't think they have any faith in any of the running backs there, and I think that's the problem. I think they made a mistake, and they should have drafted a running back like everyone thought they were going to, and they didn't. And it's starting to show.
How about Jalen Waddle? 10 receptions for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He was doing well with Tua there when he started. As soon as Tua went down, his numbers dropped. Tua comes back, and all of a sudden he's got plus double-digit fantasy points again. So yeah, I mean he's there. Is Tua the answer for Miami? Do you think these guys are going to go off of Tua? They're going to still give him a few more chances? What are you guys thinking on this one?
I think they give him more chances. I mean, they literally went so deep that year to draft him. I think just, this is still kind of his first year, right? Last year he came into the year where it was the COVID situation. He came into play, but he was still alternating with Fitzpatrick. So this is kind of still his first year. And now again, he had the injury situation. So I think they still want to see what he can do. And then, like you said, he had a decent game throwing wise, right? So that wasn't really an issue in that sense.
But you can't look at fantasy points wise. You got to look at what happened in the game. They lost the game to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's bad.
Yeah, but they also gave up 23 points to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's 3 touchdowns right there alone, right?
They were missing
if your defense.
They were missing their best corners and safety, from my understanding as well. So
both their starting corners were missing, and Jacksonville across the board just didn't do anything where you would say they stood out. Miami's defense just looked like Swiss cheese. It really did the whole day. I mean, there's a couple of plays where we're staying too long on this game as it is already, but there was a lot of missed throws and missed opportunities that Miami could have easily capitalized on, and they just didn't.
Yeah, no, it was one of those ones, but again, we'll see where they go. I don't think they have any faith in Tua. I think if they get a chance to trade for Deshaun Watson, they're going to do it. I think if they get a chance to draft another quarterback this year in the draft, they'll do it, and I think they're going to make a change. Obviously, Tua's going to finish the year, but I don't think they have any faith in Tua in Miami for the foreseeable future. But we'll see. Let's move on. We got the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. And the Packers come out, win this one 24-14. Phil, you were telling me that you had seen Mr. Rogers say something on the field there. What was it that he said about the Chicago Bears?
I loved that. I mean, he runs into the stands and he tells all the fans how much he owns them. It was great. Well, I believe Rogers is 22-5 against Chicago lifetime now. A lot of I saw some stills from the game. There's a lot of fans in the stands flipping him the bird and talking a lot of trash. And when he went that go-ahead touchdown, he let them hear it. And he ran up to them and he pointed to the crowd and he says, "I own you." And they got it on mic, and it's good to see. I like it.
Yeah, Rogers threw for 2 touchdowns, ran in for 1, obviously. Only had 195 yards throwing. So it wasn't a crazy day for him, but I guess he didn't really need it with his defense playing so well. And on the Chicago side, I think the only standout was Khalil Herbert had 97 yards and a touchdown. The wide receivers are not there. Justin Fields just, I don't know if they don't want to let him run or what. It just doesn't look too comfortable still. And on the Green Bay side, Devontae Adams finished with 89 yards. So some takeaways from here. Where is Robert Tonyan? Is he still playing for Green Bay? Have you guys seen him in a couple of weeks? What's going on?
Yeah, he sits on my bench every week. That's where he is.
He sits on Green Bay's bench every week, it feels like, too.
Yeah, pretty
He's
much.
Definitely out there blocking, but in the receiving game, you're right, James. I haven't seen him. He's almost non-existent.
The tight ends in this league is crazy how the position works, where you got your top 3 guys, and then after that, it's like I was looking at a stat that said Rob Gronkowski has missed 3 games in a row now, and he's still top 12 in fantasy points for tight ends.
Yeah,
with missing those 3 games, it's crazy. So,
well, aside from the tight end issue, both teams ran the ball quite a bit in this game. I mean, Aaron Jones had 13 rushing attempts. Dillon had 11 rushing attempts. Aaron Rodgers ran the ball 7 times. And same size as Chicago. They ran over 25 times. Not a lot of passes between the two quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, it was like I said, it wasn't a flashy game, but it was all right. And Green Bay gets the win, and they go to 5-1 now in the season, so they're a top team there. In our next game, this one's for Frank. We got the Bengals and the Lions. Bengals end up destroying the Lions 34-11.
Sorry, Frank.
I'm not sorry. His team stinks.
You know what?
He's sorry about
Jared Goff. Wow, I feel sorry for him this coming week. I mean,
did you see the interview with his coach about what he said about him? Or sorry, how he said it?
Oh, how he kind of dodged the question?
He didn't dodge it. He answered it. It was the pause. He took like a 6-second pause before he came out and said, I need basically more out of Jared Goff and he could be better. Like it was like he started off by saying he's doing what he can, but then he stopped and he literally had to think of how he was going to position it and then just came out and said, I think he can do better. It was very weird. And it's like, is Jared Goff not the guy they want anymore?
He hasn't thrown a touchdown in 2 weeks. And this week he travels back to LA to face Stafford and the Rams.
Oh, they're going to hurt him. Okay,
so we'll
get into that later.
Perfect situation. Okay. Goff goes back to LA and plays phenomenally because he's got pride and the team shows up for him. And then there's most likely the realistic storyline, and Detroit goes in there and they lose 45-3.
That's not happening.
They're not going to get 3 points?
I don't even think they're going to get that. No. Anyways, back to the Bengal Lion game that we saw. It was all Bengals the whole game. Joe Burrow threw 3 touchdowns. He looked awesome. Joe Mixon looked awesome, ran for 94 yards. I think he had a rushing and a receiving touchdown. Jamar Chase with another 97 yards. I mean, it was just Cincy. So I think the only star on Detroit that actually had an okay, decent game was DeAndre Swift, finished with about 18 or 19 fantasy points. So other than that, it was just like, there's no one else to start on this team. I mean, Hawkinson, I think, finished with 7 or 8 because it was all yardage. But it's hard to start any Lions players and trust anybody on this team.
Is it safe to say that we should start fading Tyler Boyd now? Because like the last 3 weeks, he's done absolutely nothing for me.
I wouldn't necessarily say get rid of him if I didn't need the bench space. Like if I had room to keep him on my bench and see if there's a turnaround or an injury or whatnot, I'd hold on to him. But as in terms of using him as a flex, even if I was covering buys at this point, I would not play Tyler Boyd unless I absolutely had to. If I had other options, I would consider other options. He is just not getting the target volume.
I think I called that a few weeks ago.
You did. We debated last week on the show whether it was going to be Higgins or Boyd. And you said all the things that you heard in the media and maybe we should fade Boyd. And I was under the impression that it could have been Higgins. But yeah, absolutely right. Everything you heard was correct. And it definitely looks over the past 2 weeks that Boyd's the one being faded. Other fantasy notes in this is running back day. Evans and Mixon both had great fantasy productions. And it'll be interesting to see next week, Cincinnati versus Baltimore. It'll be the battle of the AFC North. We have a 4-2 Cincinnati going to Baltimore, 5-1 for the battle of the first place in that division.
Should be good. All right. Our next game, another blowout. The Colts and the Texans. The Colts destroyed the Texans 31-3. I mean, this one was hard to watch. It was just not fun on the Houston side at all. For the most part, they were holding Jonathan Taylor in check until I believe it was the second half. He breaks off an 83-yard run, and then he finishes with 145 yards and 2 TDs to end the game. So it was a little slow start, but he went off afterwards. The only, I guess, good thing on the Houston side was Brandon Cooks gets 9 catches for 89 yards just to continue to show that he's QB proof, that guy there. So... But I can't find any other positives on the Houston side. I'm sorry, that was all I could see. And it was a bad game. They did not look good from start to finish. And the Colts took care of business and got the win.
Yep, this was pretty much a runaway. I don't have much else to add. Mark Ingram,
Nope.
18 rushes for 73 yards. He's still obviously the running back there that gets the most touches, but you can't trust any of them week to week. I unfortunately played David Johnson in 1 week and ended up losing because of it.
By 3 points, wasn't it?
Yep. And he had two.
Yeah,
He had a measly 1 point. But that's okay.
Man.
So just stay away from Houston unless you're absolutely desperate or you have Brandon Cooks.
That's the only guy.
You can start Houston is Brandon Cooks, the only one. Yes,
it's ridiculous that he's still getting this target share. I mean, he's the only one.
Someone's got to catch the ball.
Only one I guess.
All right, let's go to another blowout. There's a lot of blowouts this week. The Rams at the Giants. The Rams destroyed the Giants 38-11. Again, another one that, there was no New York anything. The only thing out of New York that I remember that I can even say was actually news was Kadarius Toney going out after, I think it was 3 or 4 throws. He ended up hurting his ankle. I heard reports it could be serious. He said he's going to miss this week and they're going to have to wait and see. But everything fantasy-wise and points-wise was all on the Rams side. Stafford had a big day, 251 and 4. Henderson had 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air. Cooper Kupp, a monster. By the way, Cooper Kupp is wide receiver 1 in fantasy. Did any of you guys see Cooper Kupp being wide receiver 1 in fantasy this year?
Definitely not wide receiver 1, but I think we all expected he'd crack the top 10 easily.
Oh, but he was getting close, but he's he's so good. It's crazy watching him and Stafford together. Like, I guess those early morning breakfasts are
hanging out. That chemistry.
The connection between those guys is ridiculous.
I mean,
the
media destroyed poor Daniel Jones this week. I think he should have taken the week off because everyone was talking about how well he's been playing and the lack of turnovers, and he decided to turn the ball over. I believe it was 5 times.
4. Yeah,
2 fumbles and 3 interceptions. 1 lost fumble. Yeah, they recovered 1.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So that was a total disaster. I think it's also safe to say now that teams traveling from the East Coast or from the West Coast to the East Coast on those early 1:00 games do not struggle as much as they used to in the past. Must be the upgraded accommodations and the first class flights.
No, I think it's just the fact that the teams on the East Coast suck.
Maybe it's just New York.
Just New York.
Yes, New York sucks. That's for sure.
Not you, Buffalo. But we'll get to you and Derrick Henry. Maybe proving us wrong.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Our next game, another blowout. We had the Chiefs blowing out the Washington football team. I mean, being a Cowboy fan and seeing all the teams in the NFC East getting blown out this week is fantastic. So I will say that to start. So the Chiefs get back in their winning ways. They're now 3-3. They won 31-13 in this one. And
okay.
Again,
you started this saying the Chiefs versus. You didn't even say Washington, I don't believe, or I didn't hear it because your thought immediately went to Cowboys.
That's usually how it works. What's the problem,
Kansas
Nick?
City
are you okay with that?
Played in a blowout. Dallas.
Does it? No. They didn't blow it down. They blew out Washington.
Yes,
31-13.
But we're not going to talk about Washington. We're just going to talk about how that impacts Dallas, of course.
Right. That's all I want to talk about. That's what I'm here to talk about.
No problem. Just want our viewers to understand how that train of thought went.
Thank you. Fantasy wise in this one, Mahomes had a good day, 397, 2 TDs.
Good second half.
Darrell Williams. Darrell Williams was the key running back for the Chiefs there, 62 yards, 2 TDs. Kelsey had 99. I believe Tyreek Hill started, left the game, came back, finished with a touchdown I think he had. So he was on and off, but he still
finally made a catch in the end zone.
He did, yeah. So it was like I said, it wasn't a fun game to watch. Washington does not look. I don't know what happened to Washington. We talked a little bit about it last week. They are not the same team from last year. It is just. I don't even know if it's the quarterback. I don't know if it's there's no defense.
At this point, it's got to be in their head, right? It's got to be weighing on them too.
But I think it's also talent. I don't think as much as everyone said they have the talent, maybe they didn't, and they just happened to have a good year last year, and they were just this Cinderella story. And and now that the real is coming, people are seeing game tape. They're seeing what the holes are, what they can do, and they're exposing them.
What about if it was the actual Alex Smith impact? Comeback player,
maybe
they're
they
playing
maybe.
for him.
And the Ron Rivera, right? His medical issues. Maybe they were playing for him. It was a motivation thing. They came out this year a little bit cocky, got slapped around, and maybe it just got in their heads after that. And then they forgot how to play football.
But I am enjoying it, so I think it should keep going.
Out there playing Red Rover. Did they forget there's a ball on the field?
I don't know. Let's get into so finally a game that was exciting. Did you guys watch this Minnesota Viking Carolina Panther game? It started off a little bit slow with them just exchanging blows back and forth, but man, did it finish crazy. At one point the Vikings were up by I think they were up by 11 points there, and Carolina scored unanswered at the end to tie the game to force overtime. And then in OT, they went back and forth as well, and the Vikings the Vikings won the toss, bring it down the field. We thought they were going to go 3 and out, and then Cousins decides to throw it to the end zone, and what was the guy's name?
KJ Osborne.
That's the one. Yes, catches it in the corner, and they were like, "No, it's out," and he's in. And they went to review it, and he was in, and everyone went nuts, and it was a crazy finish. I was like, I had Minnie, and I had them locked in my league, so I was happy about that. I think I had Osborne in a league, and everyone's looking at me like, "Who starts this guy?"
Me. That's the league I was playing.
I was about to start him too, and I ended up switching him out too. I can't remember who I switched him out for. Demetrius Felton.
There you go.
Yeah, because Chubb was out. So I'm like, okay, Hunt will get all the attention. I'll play Felton. Yeah, nope. I think he had 2 points, 2 receptions. Could have played KJ. I think he finished with 16.
Although, no, but hold on. If without that touchdown, KJ wasn't doing anything.
No, nothing at all.
No. He was 5 receptions for about 50 yards prior to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Which is okay, but it wasn't
5 for 50, which is respectable for wide receiver 3.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Minnesota's wide receiver core is looking pretty good. Sorry, James.
They're really good.
Problem. I think the biggest takeaway from all this, and like to add to that point, I don't know if it's the receiving core itself alone. I think it's Kirk Cousins. He's playing amazing.
Yeah.
Week in, week out, he's looked really good since the first 3 weeks that they lost. Like the last, it was another 3-3, but he's looked fantastic throwing the ball, getting his wide receivers going. It's been awesome to see.
He has. I think Minnesota's due for a coaching change. I think that's Minnesota's problem. I think Zimmer's a little bit too old school. I think his defensive systems and style, he thinks he's still packing that 2012, I believe, top 5 defense, and they're just not that. Minnesota had way more passing attempts. Minnesota had way more rushing attempts. They had way more possession in this game, and Carolina kept up. Why? Because Minnesota's defense couldn't stop anything.
Yeah, because we all know that Carolina hasn't been that good in the last.
Since
the Cowboys whooped them, they haven't been that good anymore.
Sam Darnold's been awful since they lost CMC.
Although, hold on, if you look at this game, I mean, these Panthers could not catch a ball if their life depended.
There was so many drops. I couldn't believe it, but all of them too. DJ Moore, everybody across the board. It was insane.
Anderson dropped like 6.
I think that's why he doesn't get the ball anymore.
Then he caught the touchdown to go to overtime.
That was his only catch. That was his only catch, 11-yard touchdown.
But that's what he does. He gets one catch for a touchdown. That's what he. Remember week 1 catch, 58 yards, a touchdown. And then I said, trade him as much as you can.
I couldn't trade Robbie Anderson for a 7th-round pick right now.
Oh man,
no, you can't. It was ridiculous.
I
couldn't believe so many.
Him week 1.
More.
Well, Dalvin Cook came back all of a sudden. He had 29 carries, 140 yards, and a touchdown. That was nice to see. Yep. Adam Thielen, 11 receptions, 126 yards. Yep. So, it was a good fantasy day. I know DJ Moore, they finally peppered him on that last quarter to get into the overtime because that was getting me to come back in one of my leagues. So it was good to see that.
Carolina saved me in a bunch of leagues with that blocked punt for a touchdown. They were going in with like 1 point. Guys? As a top defense, you mean for fantasy?
No, I mean as a team in general. Like these guys went 3-0 to start the season. Now they're 3-3. The Vikings went 0-3. Now they're 3-3. So is Carolina like done? Are we saying that they're?
But is Carolina not what Minnesota essentially is? They went to overtime, right? They're both 3-3 teams, just like.
Yep. If you had to pick who you take between these two teams, who would you take going forward?
I'd take
Minnesota.
I think I'd take Mini too. So
I think they could win more games with their offense.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the game of the week. This one everybody was hyped up for, and everyone was excited. They couldn't wait to see the Chargers and the Ravens. Unfortunately, the Chargers didn't show up, but the Ravens did.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
What a blowout. It was 34-6 for the Ravens. And and on top of that, this was probably Lamar Jackson's worst game of the season, and they still won 34-6. They're missing so many pieces. I don't understand how Baltimore's doing what they're doing right now. It is crazy. They've got their 17th running back running in this game now. It's like unbelievable to watch.
They had 6 different people rush the ball on Sunday. 6 different people. And I'm not saying 6 different people because 5 of them had 1 rushing attempt and 1 person had 20. No. We had Devontae Freeman with 9 rushing attempts. Yeah. We had Lamar Jackson with his with a touchdown. Lamar Jackson with his classic 8. Latavius Murray, 9 rushing attempts. Le'Veon Bell, 8 rushing attempts.
Touchdown.
Right? Like this was spread across the board. And all the touchdowns went to the old guys, Freeman, Murray, and Bell.
Yeah. Now Murray did get hurt
like watching
in
a
this
Pro
one,
Bowl.
So we'll see what no, for real.
From 10 years
1999. Murray did get hurt, so I'm curious to see if he doesn't play this week. Does that mean Devonta Freeman is going to be the starting running back?
But no, Lamar Jackson is the starting running back for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, but he's already the starting quarterback.
Is just there. Exactly.
Well, they moved Le'Veon Bell officially
from the practice
squad to the actual team. So that tells me that maybe Murray is not going to play this week. I don't think it matters. This team runs so well anyways. Doesn't matter who goes in there.
It's such a strong system.
Yeah, no, they're looking good. They go to 5-1. The Chargers, who everyone thought were the real deal, drops another one, 4-2. So
it just did not look good. It was just so lopsided. I don't know what happened to Herbert. Nothing was working for him.
No, they definitely struggled offensively, and on the defensive side, I don't think they could stop any running back in the NFL right now. Over the last 3 weeks, they have given up, I believe, almost 200 yards rushing to every team. I think Kansas City was the lowest at 167 rushing yards.
Wow. Those are massive numbers.
Yeah. Well, anyways, the Ravens destroyed them. It was on the Chargers side. I don't think anyone had a good day. Justin Herbert, we had talked about, I think he scored 14 points, 195, a TD, was not his day. They didn't even get the extra point. That's why they only got 6. That's even worse. So it's just not a fun day. Eckler finished with, I think, 7 points. It was a rough one. So they're due. I think they'll have a bye week, so that'll help them to kind of hopefully forget about this, or for 2 weeks think about how bad it was and come back strong a little bit after this. But let's move on to the only undefeated team in the league, the Arizona Cardinals, taking on the Cleveland Browns. This was also a game that everybody wanted to see, thinking it would be a lot closer than it was, and the undefeated Cardinals did it again, and they just took it to the Browns. I know the Browns were missing Chubb coming in. They lost Hunt early in the game. He's gone on IR already. Baker got hurt in this one, but stayed in the game. That guy is a tough SOB, let me tell you. I saw him get hurt. I saw the play. I mean, not TJ Watt. JJ Watt was sitting there and almost calling a stretcher to come out. And then he went into the tent, popped back out, and he was like, all right, let's go. I'm ready to go. It was crazy. But they ended up losing 37-14 in this one. And I mean, Murray just looks scary. Like, you can't stop this guy. He's doing it all out there, and he's making everybody look good with him. And I mean, Hopkins had 2 easy touchdowns, which there was one easy touchdown where he was all by himself, and another touchdown where he actually juked the guy. I'm pretty sure he broke his ankle and then ran into the touchdown. It was ridiculous.
That was nasty.
So
watch that play live. It was just like, oh, he caught the ball. Oh, there's the move. Okay, he's gone. That's it.
Yeah, it was that team's scary good. The defense is good. I mean, 6-0. Are they the real deal, guys? What do you guys think?
I definitely think Arizona is the most complete team in football right now. They have proven it now 6 weeks in a row that they have a top 3, if not the best offense, and a top 3, if not the best defense.
Yeah. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah, I started seeing it when they destroyed the Rams that game, and now it's just like no one's really come close.
My 49ers were the closest.
Yes,
that makes me feel good.
That was I think it was you guys only lost by 3.
It was 17-10. But not only did we hold them to 17, but we were hurt. It was Trey Lance's first start, and it was such a close game all the way into the fourth quarter. So, moral victory.
I'm excited that the Cowboys get to play them later on in the season.
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm hoping the records are still holding, because if the records are still where they are, like they are now, that could be a huge game come down the stretch. So
what do we think? The Cardinals, the Cowboys, and the Rams are the 3 most complete teams in football? Or do we think Tampa? Tampa's defense
I'm a little
suspect.
biased, so I'm going to say to the Cowboys. Obviously, the Cardinals are looking good, and I mean
Rams or Tampa, I would say.
The Rams lost to the Cards, though. So
but they also beat
at the end
Tampa.
of the day, I still think.
Yeah, but Tampa, Tampa's defense we've seen throughout the years, not the same defense.
We'll have to see when they're healthy. We'll have to reevaluate Tampa when they're healthy.
Their whole secondary is on the IR, aren't they? All of them, and now even their backups are on the IR. It's ridiculous.
A lot of guys they just signed are now on the IR.
Yeah, Sherman just went back out too. It's crazy. But then Brady's just like, that's okay. I'll just score more. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
So, this one was the game that I totally guessed wrong. This next game, I thought for sure, with the way the situation in Las Vegas has been going with the coach and everything, that the Raiders were going to come out flat. Boy, was I wrong. They came out and just took it to the Broncos in Denver as well, which is another hard place to play. And they win this game 34-24. They look good from start to finish. Everybody looked playing well. Derek Carr, 341 yards, 2 TDs. Henry Ruggs had a deep ball TD. They just came together and played for that coach. It was awesome to see. I was, happy for them, but man, did I get this one wrong. Did you guys catch any of this game?
I did not. I believe it was on the same time as the Cowboys, and I went to that game. But I mean, hey, come on, I gotta watch my Cowboys. But yeah, I mean, it was good to see Derek Carr get back into that groove. I mean, he's had a rough few weeks, so I was hoping he kind of got back into that rhythm, which he did with the 340 yards. It looks like the Broncos, after those first 3 games against those easy under 500 teams, are now struggling with that offense. And I know there's injuries even to their defense and offense, but it's still not looking good considering, I mean, their best guy was Noah Fant.
I had him in the league, 97 and a touchdown. He was good, but you're right. They're not looking like a team there. And the defense isn't as good as everyone thought they were. But we called it. I mean, their first 3 games were against teams that combined for an 0-10 record. And now they're playing teams that actually can play football. And all of a sudden, wait, we aren't as good as we thought we were. So, but their problem comes down to what it always does. They don't have a quarterback.
No,
Teddy Bridgewater is not a quarterback to win.
I like Teddy, but he is a facilitator. And I'm watching Denver. They don't have any oomph to their offense. It's very... I'm no offensive coordinator, but watching them, it seems very simplistic. There's no gadgetry. There's no anything to maybe throw the defense off. There's not a lot of motion for reads, right? You run the 2-headed running back system. There's nothing flashy about them. They manage the game. So when that defense, even at home, which I took Denver. I thought for sure Denver, at least at home in a division matchup, would keep it close. Maybe pull off a turnover, an interception, or a sack. Maybe some missed time management on the new coaching staff. But no, Vegas looks great. And the biggest difference in this game was how Denver cannot rush the passer at all. They get no pressure on the quarterback. Carr had all day sitting back there to throw the ball. That's the biggest difference with this defense. And we didn't notice that in the first 3 weeks because they were playing weaker teams. Now, over the last couple weeks, we notice how difficult it is for them to put any pressure on the offense.
It's amazing how now we're looking at 6 weeks in. So the first 3 weeks versus the second 3 weeks. What a difference the switches that we've seen now and the records and whatnot. It's crazy. But let's get on to the game of the week, at least my game of the week, Nick's game of the week. Phil, I mean, I should be your game of the week. It was the craziest game on TV.
It was the best game of the week.
So
Even
I'll
if it
take
wasn't
that.
the best result.
My Cowboys and Knicks taking on the New England Patriots in New England. This was a back and forth battle, and the Cowboys came out on top in overtime, beating the Patriots 35-29. It was crazy from start to finish. The back and forth that was there. I think the third and fourth quarters. Was it Patriots scored 15, the Cowboys scored 12 in the third and fourth quarter alone. Sorry, in the fourth quarter alone.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't know if anyone really wanted to win this game. The Cowboys had 2 red zone turnovers. One, I'm pretty sure Dak was in. I don't understand how they didn't call Dak in. His whole body and the ball were over the line. I don't understand. I'll never get it. And then they go forward again on 4th down, and of course he fumbles the ball and they lose the ball on that and on a touchback. But I mean, that one, and then there was another turnover on Dak. It was like the Cowboys tried everything they possibly could to lose this game, and then were able to hold on at the end. Travion Diggs gets another interception, this time for a TD. He has been unreal for the Cowboys. They're calling him Defensive Player of the Year already. He's got 7 INTs in 6 games. I was laughing because it was 4th down. The Cowboys went for it. That was when they missed it, and everyone's like, "Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you kick?" And then he intercepts the ball right after, and I'm like, "That's why he needed his interception in the game, because he didn't have it yet."
Kendrick Bourne got his revenge on the very next play.
Yeah.
But,
let's just put that note in there so you guys don't get too far ahead of yourself. That was the safety's fault. That was the safety's fault.
So he did, yes.
Exactly.
He deked Travion. 100%.
It was a great move.
He beat Travion Diggs. It was a great move.
But at the
same time,
Diggs.
whatever. That guy, yeah.
Not whatever. He's the Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, yeah, Travion. You're fine. Don't worry.
He digs.
He's
got something there. He's got something with Ion, Travion.
I was close. I was closer than I've been on other names.
That's
so just
true.
take it and
That's
be quiet,
true.
okay? But yes, he was beat, and but the safety, I don't know what he was thinking, why he didn't even touch the guy. He just walked past him. I'm like, what are you doing out there? It was a horrible broken play, and at that point, I thought it was over, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. But Dak brought them back. They get the field goal. They go to overtime, and in overtime, the best was, did you see the overtime? Did you see CeeDee? So CeeDee Lamb knew he beat the defender. He had his hand raised, and as he's running the end zone, he's waving by to the guy in the end zone in overtime. It was great.
No, he was waving by.
That was after. Because he pushed him.
He was showboating.
Because he was showboating, and the guy took offense, and he body checked him, so he waved in his face, And
he's like, all right, goodbye, we won.
He had that big goofy smile on. It was a great shot by the camera guy. Great shot.
Fantastic.
He balled out. It was great to see.
I feel like the
Dak
Patriots
did get hurt.
Yeah, he did.
On that last play.
He had a calf strain, but he's saying he should be good to go. But sorry, Phil, you're saying you feel like the Patriots suck?
Yes,
I agree.
No, I wasn't going to say that. But back just quick to finish off the Dak thought. He wasn't a walking boot in his interview. That's just precautionary. That's just for support for his calf. We're going to wait for further news, but as of right now, it's not a serious injury, and he should be good to go. The Patriots.
I think with the break, he's good.
What was that, Nick?
I think with the bye, he should be okay.
Absolutely. They are on a bye this week, which is perfect for them. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
The Patriots definitely tried to stop the run in this. They played a lot of man coverage. The Patriots are known for man coverage. J.C. Jackson is amazing. He played phenomenally. But in the end, it didn't matter. You have so many weapons on that Dallas team. And Dak, like I said last week, is the MVP.
I like hearing that. Can you say it again?
It's great. Yeah.
Once a week, James.
We'll take that for now.
I'll take it. I'll wait till next week. Next week, you won't say it because they're on a bye. I'll have to get you to say it somehow. I'll figure it out. But,
well, then you need Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray to lose. And I'll say it again for you.
It's going to be tough. Anyways, but we'll figure that out. I think the one thing that stood out to me, aside from how good the Cowboys play in the win, was I felt so bad for Jacoby Myers. Did you guys know that Jacoby Myers doesn't have a touchdown in the NFL?
Yes.
Did you know this?
I have him on one of my leagues, and it's a full PPR league, and he has not left my flex spot because he averages 13 to 16 points a week with no touchdowns.
He's top 3 in receptions, top 3 in targets, and the poor guy has no touchdowns. And he finally got his first touchdown. He went crazy and nuts, and it was a holding call. And I was dying. So bad for him. That's hilarious.
He did catch another ball in the end zone, though. It was a 2-pointer, though.
Yes. So I'm glad we brought up Jacoby. That's a good note. He's been playing great. He's the one real bright spot on that offense.
Yeah, no, he's been really good. I didn't know that he had 0 touchdowns in, I think it's 3 seasons. I'm sitting there, I'm just like, he's got none. I was like, that's crazy because you hear his name all the time.
Yeah, and he's been doing phenomenal this year.
Yeah. So, well, that was fun to watch. Cowboys are 5-1, leading the division. I mean, it's great to talk about the Cowboys. CD 149 and 2 TDs. Dak 445 yards, 3 TDs. Damon Harris was the leading rusher, 101 yards on New England and 1 TD. But it was fun. Cowboys won. That's all that matters. Let's move on to the Sunday nighter. And I'll be honest with you, I did not care for this game. I did not even want to watch this game. It was the Steelers and the Seahawks without Russell Wilson and them having to start Geno Smith. I sat there thinking the Steelers are just going to destroy these guys. I was wrong, and it ended up being a lot closer than it should have been. This game also went to overtime. It was a 23-20 finish for the Steelers. There was some craziness in the overtime because the Seahawks were driving, and TJ Watt, the other Watt, was the one who strip-sacked Geno Smith to help the Steelers end up winning the game at the end. I believe he had another big stop earlier as well. He was all over the field. It was crazy. But I mean, notable from this, I mean, it was a boring game from the highlights I saw. There wasn't really much out of this one. It wasn't.
Both defenses played relatively well. It was sloppy early, slow, hard to get into. A lot of running. Alex Collins was a bright spot for the Seahawks. He had 20 rushing attempts for 101 yards and a touchdown. He looked really good. Geno Smith played really well. I mean, when you figure Geno Smith is going to be starting against that Pittsburgh defense, you're thinking at best he's going to have 200 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, right? He had his 200 yards and his touchdown, but he had no interceptions. His pass percentage was pretty good. He was around 66% completion percentage, which was decent. And he only had that one late game fumble where he was absolutely blindsided by TJ, which ended up losing the possession and then leading to the field goal. DK Metcalf made a bonehead play at the end of the game there. Almost cost.
What was that?
Yeah. Why would you not go out? I don't.
Why just go out? Like, you caught the ball, you got the yardage, just go out. What are you doing?
Have you guys heard the Twitter beef between DK and Shannon Sharpe?
Yeah, that I lost a lot of respect for DK because of this Twitter beef. Because in my eyes, and obviously I'm not a professional football player, so maybe I'm missing something, but there is no defense for what he did. Like, there was 2 guys around him, one on him making the tackle, one that punched it out. Where were you going? You weren't on the 5-yard line where you had a chance to get into the end zone. You were 30, 40 yards away from the end zone still. Time was running off the clock. It made no sense. And then to have the nerve to lash out at someone like Shannon Sharpe, who is being nothing but professional and calling a spade, that was hero ball, was just childish to me. Honestly,
he ripped on him in his career. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you're talking about Shannon Sharpe like that? Like, what have you done? Like, I get you're a top wide receiver right now, but
he's been hanging out with Kevin Durant too much.
I don't know, man. But you can't talk to Sharpe.
Maybe
like
their
that.
muscle milk has some estrogen in it. They're getting really sensitive. I don't understand.
I don't know.
It's not like he insulted the guy. He said, look, you tried to do too much. That's what hero ball is. You're not focused on what you should be doing for the betterment of the team. You're just focused on making the best play. Well, if you were focused on the position and the time on the clock and where you were on the field and what you should be doing versus just get the ball and run real hard, you would have made a better play. That's all he was saying. But he had to turn around and take a cheap shot at a Hall of Famer. It's sad.
I don't know.
It
I don't
really
know what
is
he's
sad.
thinking. I don't know what it is. It is, and you have a lot of people, I'm sure, lost respect like yourself and didn't like the way it went. But anyways, the Steelers end up with the win. They go to 3-3, and the Seahawks go to 2-4. Seahawks are in a tough battle until Russell gets back. I don't know. I mean, the defense can play all they want, but they're down running backs too now. Collins got hurt as well. They're not sure if he's going to be able to play this week, and I heard Penny's coming back, but I don't know what's going to happen there.
I don't know how that guy's still on the roster. Every single year, it feels like Penny's going to be the starter, and then he's either hurt or he's the third stringer, or he barely makes the practice squad. Like, is Penny somehow secretly like dating Pete Carroll's daughter or something? Because I don't understand what this relationship is.
He's got some secret pictures of Pete Carroll that we don't know
because
about, and he's just holding
Penny this, Penny that every single year, and I don't think I've ever seen the guy carry a football.
He's on sleeper right now as a must-add in 12-team leagues because they said he might actually start. So who knows? I don't know. I mean,
well, they have no one else.
I mean, I'd say I'm picking up Ernest Johnson first, but I mean, I tried that last year and it blew up in my face. So I don't know how I feel about Ernest Johnson.
Oh, man. All right. And the last game of the night, the Monday Nighter, this was a fun one. Bills and Titans. Bills were the favorites going in. Titans says, we don't care. They came out flying. They were beating the Bills for most of this game. It went back and forth, back and forth. Bills then took a lead. Titans came back. Bills took it back. And in the end, it was just too much Derrick Henry, and the Titans end up winning this one 34-31. Derrick Henry is a monster. He had 20 carries, 143 yards, 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen had a great game, 353 and 3 touchdowns. A.J. Brown finally showed up with 7 receptions, 91 yards. Stephon Diggs finally got a touchdown this week. I mean, it was just back and forth action. You were not bored in this one at all, but Derrick Henry is a problem. He is scary.
Derrick Henry is a bad man.
It is like, I mean, I saw him break through the tackles. He broke through 3 guys, and then on top of that, beat out the safeties going. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. There was a quote online that I saw that basically said, Derrick Henry's running at you full speed. The question isn't, are you trying to tackle Derrick Henry? The question is, how many more years of your career do you want left?
You're putting business on the line. That's what they said.
I was expecting something along the lines of, how many more of your friends do you need to call?
No, that too. But
that's
saying,
good.
How many career years?
Yeah, how many years of your career do you want to shave off?
There was a play last night. There was a play that Derrick Henry got the ball. He broke through, and all the Buffalo guys were gone except for Micah Hyde. So Micah Hyde's basically there. Okay, he's lining up. He's getting down. He's like, okay, I got this. And Derrick Henry just plows him to the ground. I mean, he got him down, but like Micah got the worst out of it. It was just like, okay,
anybody versus Derrick Henry gets the worst of it. There's no getting nice.
When I see Derrick Henry run, all I can think of is that one Sports Science episode where they had ex-corner Quentin Jammer on, and they set up a test dummy, and they put all of these pressure sensors on it, and they threw the football to the test dummy, and they had Quentin Jammer run across like he was covering a crossing route and spear this dummy to make the tackle. And they showed the pounds per pressure, like the pressure of this hit.
The impact.
1,400 pounds was this hit. Yeah. Can you
imagine?
That's not Derrick Henry. 21 miles per hour, 250 pounds. No thanks.
I don't think you could pay me.
It's like getting hit by a Mini Cooper. No. It's got to be being run over by a Mini Cooper.
That was another meme I saw. So I'm watching another meme on Twitter, and so the meme was Derrick Henry, but he's a little blurry. And then you put your glasses on, and you clean your glasses, and then when you really look and see with the image not blurry, it's a Mack truck.
Well, I have so much respect for rugby. I love rugby as a sport. I respect those guys. They play without the equipment and stuff.
They're crazy.
But I'm sorry. Like, any rugby team that would like to come here and put on NFL pads and try to tackle Derrick Henry, by all means, I'd love to see that. Because you ain't taking football for granted anymore. Because there's always this comparison between rugby versus American football. And it's different because no pads versus pads. When you have pads, you're protected as well as your opponent. So you can hit as hard as you want and not fear as much for injuring yourself. So there's always that, which is scarier, which hits hurt more. I would love to see a rugby team come here and face guys like Derrick Henry.
I loved when I saw it after he scored, I think his second or third touchdown, and then he's celebrating with the offensive lineman, and I can't tell who's bigger, him or the lineman. It's like
when
they're
he's
all
standing
the same.
on the sideline. You would never suspect that Derrick Henry was a running back if you didn't know better, because it looks like he should be playing in a rugby league. He is,
he's huge,
enormous. He should be in the WWE.
Well, good for the Titans. I think that was a huge win. It definitely shook up that system. Now, I have a question for you guys based on what we just saw this week, the standings that we know. So I was looking up some statistics, and they say teams that finish 5-1 or 6-0 after the first 6 weeks of the season have an 80-something% chance of making the playoffs. Now, this year we know we have an extra team getting in, so it'll be 7-7. So I believe that's percentage will actually go higher. We'll start with the NFC because that's the easier side. I'm going to be asking you guys to predict, and we're going to mark this down. So you're going to predict to me who you think are going to be the 7 playoff seeds today for the finals. We're going to mark it. We're going to see how well we do. I'm going to go through it right now with you. I'll tell you the teams on the NFC, what the records are. I'll give you those 6-0, 5-1 teams. I think we can lock those, and you guys can, I guess, predict the rest. And then we'll talk about the AFC because that's a mess. But we got the 6-0 Cardinals. So let's say they make it. That's 1. You got the 5-1 Cowboys. They're 2 games up in their division. That's 2. You got the 5-1 Rams. That's 3. You got the 5-1 Packers. That's 4. You got the 5-1 Buccaneers. That's 5. Okay, so let's say those 5 teams are a lock. They're going to make the playoffs. I think that we can agree on that.
Yep.
There's 2.
Assuming the 85% statistic, yes.
Yeah, assuming that's there. Now there's 2 spots left. Who the heck is coming out of this with who's left? So you've got in the East, you got Washington and the Eagles at both 2-4. In the NFC West, you've got the 49ers at 2-3. And the Seahawks at 2-4. In the NFC North, you got the Vikings and Bears at 3-3. And in the NFC South, you got the Saints 3-2 and the Panthers 3-3 and the Falcons 2-3. So, who is your 6 and 7 seeds, gentlemen?
Wow. Well, without actually looking into upcoming schedules, up until this point, I would have to say my 6th seed, I guess we should be writing these down for later, will be the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
I don't see Washington, Philadelphia, or the New York Giants being able to pull off a wild card spot as much as playing each other would give them free wins. They're not going to have enough to steal those last 2 spots, in my opinion. Minnesota definitely has a chance. I don't think Chicago does. Definitely Detroit does not.
Come on.
And
for Greco.
based on what we've seen from Carolina the past couple of weeks, they're the other 3-3 team that you could maybe consider unless one of the bottom teams goes on a run. And I don't see enough from them to even be considering a wild card team. So my number 6 pick is the New Orleans Saints. And my number 7 pick, and this is absolutely me hoping because, man, my team is in a tough division, is the San Francisco 49ers. They've probably played the Arizona Cardinals the closest up until this point. They're still recovering from injuries themselves, and they do have an easier back half of the schedule. So I'm hoping they could sneak into that wild card as well.
Okay,
so those are my Saints 2 picks.
And we got 49ers. Nick, what are you taking?
Phil brought up really good points there. Honestly, if I have to look at this, it probably would have been the Seahawks for me making it, but with losing Russell, I don't like it anymore. That's a big loss to them. So honestly, at this rate,
I didn't ask you who's not making it. I asked you who's making it.
Yeah, great.
But he's explaining to you why he's picking the teams he's picking.
Yeah,
by telling you why he's not
be...
taking the Seahawks.
If the Seahawks have Russell Wilson, you don't think they're going to make it? They're 2-4, and they lost with 2 games.
But they don't have Russell Wilson, so they're not making it. He's out for 5 weeks.
And I said that would have been one of my teams, though, if he was playing.
I would have had to consider them too if
exactly.
He was
if Russell Wilson's playing, he's in that team.
Get
is in
to
contention.
the point. Who are you picking?
I am picking the Saints and the Minnesota Vikings.
Nice. Okay. I am taking the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm torn between the 49ers and part of me, I don't know why, wants to say the Falcons are going to jump both those teams and make a run for it. I don't know why. I was looking at some schedule there, and I thought maybe the Falcons can go on a run.
So the person asking the question had the time to go and look at the future schedules.
Yeah, exactly.
So you could kind of plan out what their records would be like ahead of time.
That's how this works. Yes.
I get it. Okay, so take Atlanta. Put your money where your mouth is.
I set you up nicely. Yes, I did. I'm a bit to it. That's fine. Someone's got to look good when we're talking about these things.
Well, okay, aside from that, yeah.
I'm going to take the 49ers, though. I'm going to say Vikings 49ers.
Actually, it's a good mix. I got Saints 49ers. You got Vikings and 49ers. And Nick's got the Saints and the Vikings. Do we have Frank's picks? I guess he's not here for the question.
No, Frank wasn't able to give me this one, so we don't have that one. That's okay. So let's move over to the AFC, and this one is a lot harder. So the only 5-1 team are the Baltimore Ravens. So we'll say that the Ravens are in, and we all like Buffalo. We assume Buffalo's going to make it. They're 4-2. So let's lock the Ravens and let's lock the Bills in. Okay? We need to find the next 5 teams.
Oh, we had like 5 in the other one. Now we only have 2.
Yes, we did.
Well, I don't think it's too difficult looking at it.
In the AFC East, after the Bills, it's the Patriots at 2-4, and then the Jets and Dolphins stink. So you don't have to worry about that. In the AFC West, the Chargers are 4-2, the Raiders are 4-2. The Broncos are 3-3, the Chiefs are 3-3. That's the toughest division for me. That I don't know what's going to happen in that one. The Bengals are 4-2 after the Ravens. The Browns are 3-3, and the Steelers are 3-3. So that division is also wide open after the Ravens. And then in the AFC South, the Titans are 4-2. The Colts are 2-4, and then it's 1-5 Texans and Jags. So it is a mess. Who wants to go first?
Why don't you go first? Since you've done the research.
Go ahead, James. Yeah. We have to pick how many teams here?
5.
You need to pick 5. Okay.
5
so
teams.
You're saying
Bills,
the Ravens are a lock and the Bills are a lock for their divisions.
Yes. Let's say that they're in. Yes. So I'm gonna say the Chargers.
Yep.
I'm gonna say the Titans.
Yep. Those are the 2 teams to win their divisions.
That's 4. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to say the Chiefs.
Yep.
That's 5.
Mm-hmm.
The Colts
bold.
Are going to get in there at the 7. But
okay.
There's a team before them. I'm just trying to figure out now, is it going to be I don't want to say the Bengals. But it's between the Bengals and the Raiders for me right now. Oh, man.
Does it matter our order, or are we just saying who's in?
No, just say the 7, and then we'll see how they come out.
Well, I have let's do them in order. I mean, it's not
okay.
It's just
I'll say Bengals
6,
6, Colts 7.
Alrighty.
Chiefs 5, and then Titans, Ravens,
as their divisions.
Chargers, Bills. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
All right.
Wow.
Yes.
I'll give you some more time there, Nick, and I'll make mine. We have Baltimore, obviously, and Buffalo is the first 2. Yep. Then I'm going to also say Tennessee as the division winner. I am going to take Kansas City as the division winner.
Okay.
I'm going to take LA Chargers as the first wild card.
Okay.
I'm going to take Cincinnati Bengals as the second wild card, and the Cleveland Browns as the third
So
wild
the only
card.
difference between me and you are Colts and Browns. Okay.
Well, and division winners. If we're going in order.
Okay.
But if we're just saying the 7 teams to get in, we have almost all the same.
If you get the 7 teams, I think we'll take it at that. But yes.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Nick.
We'll consider it a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick. What are you thinking?
All right. So yeah, Bills Ravens. Like Phil, I'm gonna go Tennessee wins their division.
Mm-hmm.
And I am also gonna say the Chiefs come back and win their division. Then my next team in is going to be the Chargers.
Okay.
And I am then going to pick. Wow. Honestly, I like the way the Bengals are playing, so I have to pick the Bengals there. And for my last team, I'm going to go with
Raiders.
I wanted to, but 3 from that one division, that's rough.
I was thinking it too. That's what
I
I
got
was
3 from the AFC North.
That's why
It's very likely to happen when you have such a weak AFC East.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The South and the East, none of those teams are getting in other than the division winner.
The Colts can go on a run. They got a pretty easy schedule coming up.
They've won 2 in a row, but they did start 0-4, and they do have an easy schedule coming up. So they could definitely turn this around to turn into a 500 team where they sneak into the playoffs at the end. I'm sorry about that. You're right. But Houston, Jacksonville, no way. New England, very unlikely. Jets, Miami, no way. Right, so you're probably gonna have those other 2 divisions dominate.
Yeah, it's one of those teams one of those divisions might get 3. So you could be Raiders,
or it could be 2 and 2.
My last team is going to be the Raiders.
Nice.
Makes the picks more interesting, anyways.
Well, let's mark those down, and come playoff time, we'll see how close we actually were. But since we're going to go for real, I think I would take the Chiefs to win the division over the Chargers too, just so we're on the same page.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Oh, changing it now that we.
I was just going my 7, but that's okay. That's fine. I think it's only a 1-game difference right now between them, and the Chargers seem to be on the other end. But so. All right, so those are our picks for that. We'll get them up on Instagram so you guys can see them. We'll lock those in. And speaking of picks, gentlemen, let's get to this week's picks. We got week 7 coming up, the Buymageddon for a lot of people in fantasy.
Yeah,
but
for real.
Starting us off on Thursday night. Oh my God, I feel so bad for this. This is going to be a hard game to watch. The Denver Broncos at the Cleveland Browns. And both teams are 3-3. I think it's a must-win for both teams in this situation. I will let you guys start this one.
Okay. Well, since Frank is not here to do his picks and he sent his picks to you, why don't we alternate, and Nick and I will go and do our picks, and then you can give yours and Frank's, and then switch. Then you can give yours and Frank's, and then we'll give our picks. We'll just go back and forth.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
So the first game is what again? Denver and
the Browns.
At the Browns.
Right. That's the Thursday nighter with a dislocated shoulder, no running backs.
Yes.
Maybe both teams are 3-3. Maybe no OBJ.
Yeah. Both teams need the win.
I've taken Denver to win in the last 5 weeks straight, and they've let me down.
Every week, yeah.
The final score.
Baker's getting a second opinion. He says he wants to play, so we'll see. He could be in the game. He may not be.
Who's the backup if Baker doesn't play? Anyone know?
Keenum.
Case Keenum might be better.
He's serviceable, definitely. He
is,
but I wouldn't say he's better.
If there's no Landry and there's no OBJ,
Donovan People-Jones, buddy.
DPP, yeah, man, he's great.
Yeah.
Or DPJ.
I'm going to take the Browns just for my playoff pick, and because the Broncos cannot even rush the passer at all. So Baker, no Baker. Chubb, no Chubb. I think the Browns will be fine. Defense needs some redemption. Browns.
Nikki?
Oh, I wanted him to go to the Broncos so I could go to the Browns. I'm also going to go to the Browns, though. I can't. I don't trust the Broncos, man. They haven't done it like he said.
That's good. So I'm taking the Broncos, and Greco is also taking the Broncos. That kind of scares me.
Our even split here. Let's go.
I like it.
All right. Game number 2, we've got the 1:00. So we got the Carolina Panthers 3-3 at the New York Giants. I have not heard anything yet on Saquon, if he's going to be playing or not. So we'll see a little bit later. We do know Christian McCaffrey will not be playing as he went on IR. I don't like this game either. I am going to take the Carolina Panthers because I think they're a better team than the Giants. Frank is taking the Giants. That makes me feel better. Gentlemen, where are you guys going?
I am going to take the Carolina Panthers. I don't like what the Giants are doing right now. And they still have nothing there. Daniel Jones, maybe he has a bounce back, but I'm still going Carolina.
Bill, you joining Frank or are you going with us?
I'm with Frank. I mean, I hate the Giants, but you know what? As long as they don't play like they did this week, I think they beat the Panthers. The Panthers' defense has been super leaky. Daniel Jones, again, aside from this week, hasn't been that much of a turnover machine. Barkley or no Barkley, I'm not too concerned in this one because Devontae Booker's looked really good. It's that O-line that's been rocky for them. So I'm going to take a shot and say the Giants bounce back at home.
All right, another split. Wow, okay. This could be a big week. All right, we got the New York Jets at the New England Patriots.
New England.
You guys start.
New England. Don't need to explain why. New England.
Nick?
New England.
New England and New England. 4 across the board. That was easy.
I don't think we need to say much about the Jets. I mean, they're coming back from a bye. I'd love to see this game be close, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, no. We're good. We got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Tennessee Titans. This should be a fun one, especially with how the Titans just played. I guess we're up first. So Frank is going to take the Kansas City Chiefs. I am also going to take the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm a little hesitant because Derrick Henry still scares me, but I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs.
Derrick Henry's going to run wild on these guys, just like he's done to every team. But I think Mahomes continues his winning streak here and wins. So I'm taking the
Kansas
Chiefs.
City. Phil?
I'm going to take the over 100 points.
I like that over. That's a good over.
Oh, is that not allowed? I guess I have to pick a winner. Okay.
Yes.
I am not going to lone wolf this because I don't really. The Titans are so up and down. Derrick Henry is a monster, but I just don't see anything from that passing game to keep them in it if the Chiefs come out here throwing all over the place.
Tannehill started throwing in the end of this game. I mean, it was all to A.J. Brown, but he was throwing finally.
And they were all the same route because of the play action. So,
yes, they were.
If it wasn't for Henry, that wouldn't have happened. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one, too. I'm expecting a Titans letdown more than a Chiefs big play. Maybe a late score in the last 2 minutes.
The over-under is almost at 60 points, by the way.
It'll probably be the highest over-under we've seen in a while. I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 60.
And it's going to be a 12-12 game.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
5 turnovers each team.
The Washington football team at the Green Bay Packers. You guys get to start this one.
Sure, I'll go first here. I am going to take Aaron Rodgers and his Packers. We already know why. We've talked about it before. Washington isn't the same team.
Yeah, it's hard to make up any kind of argument for Washington that would make you think that they have a chance in this game. I mean, it is football. Anything can happen. But Packers at home, 5-1. Washington defense not being able to stop anybody. I can't see the Packers losing.
Yeah, we both got Packers too, Frank and I. So that was easy. Next game, we got the Atlanta Falcons 2-3 taking on the Miami Dolphins 1-5. It's in Miami. We are starting, so I'll let Frank go first. Frank is taking the Falcons. I also like the Falcons in this one. Coming off the bye week, Miami didn't look too good. I know they lost to the Jags, but they're coming back from London, and Maybe they'll have a little bit of jet lag. Maybe they'll make them play better than they did. I don't know, but I'm going to go with the Falcons.
The way you explained that game was Miami didn't look too good, and like you think that he's going to go with, but maybe they'll play better this week. So I'm going to pick that. No, I'm picking the Falcons.
Miami didn't look too good. Period.
I was trying to convince myself to take the Dolphins this time, and I couldn't do it. I tried.
Well, put me with the Falcons as well. I still don't trust Miami at all this year.
Oh, wow. This is tough.
Lone Wolf?
Yeah, part of me wants to take Miami. I'm a little concerned about the injury situation. Miami? No, more so their injury situation. I'd like to know what was going on with their corners before I made this pick. Unfortunately, there's no reports on whether Byron Jones, which I don't think will be back, or Xavier Howard will be back. Yeah. So until I see,
pick with your gut. Find one and just take it.
Why are you trying to rush me for? You just want me to take the Dolphins so I can lose a pick. I really do want to take the Dolphins at home.
So take them.
I'm going to take the Dolphins at home.
Fine. See?
I don't need a reason. Just because I want to. I hate the Falcons. Right.
Next game, we got the 4-2 Bengals at the 5-1 Ravens. This one, actually, I'm excited for. I think this could be a fun back and forth game. I am going to side with the Ravens on this one. They should go to 6-1. Frank is taking the Bengals to upset.
Wow.
Interesting. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, this is definitely the game of the week for me. Aside from watching my 49ers, but I mean, we play the Colts. It should still be a good game, but Baltimore, Cincinnati for the division lead. I like the Ravens here. I'm not sure the Bengals defense is ready to stop Lamar Jackson just yet.
I am going to go with the Ravens. I think it's a game like we just had this week with the Chargers, and we're going to get we thought it was going to be so good, and the Ravens are just going to roll over the Bengals.
Poor Frank is a lone wolf. All right, this next one I really don't think we need to even talk too much about. We got the
Frank's taking Detroit,
Lions at the LA Rams 5-1. Jared Goff going back to LA. The headlines are all there, and I think we're all taking the Rams, right? Frank's got Rams, I got Rams. Does anyone want to take the Lions? Anybody?
No. There could be there could be 3 Jared Goffs on the field, and that's not going to help them.
All right. Yep, that was easy. All right, next game. We got the 2-4 Philadelphia Eagles at the 4-2 Las Vegas Raiders. This one's an interesting one because I mean the Eagles have been playing a little bit better. Not fantasy wise, but I mean as a team they've been close games, here and there. So Frank is taking the Eagles. I think I'm going to side with the Raiders. I think they're going to turn this into one of those Cinderella seasons where they're just going to be on a high from what happened and play for the interim coach. And I still don't like the Eagles, so I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm a little biased here. I despise the Eagles since I'm a Cowboys fan.
Always biased. What do you mean a little?
Well, I don't lie. I am biased. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raiders.
Phil?
Yeah, I think the Raiders have a hard time stopping Jalen Hurts, but Raiders at home, Cinderella story. Well, not really Cinderella story. It's kind of a sad story, but the players are playing for pride at this point, playing for their new coach. I like Vegas in this one. I don't think Philadelphia has enough.
All right. I think I just found my survivor pick in this next game. The 6-0 Arizona Cardinals taking on the 1-5 Houston Texans in Arizona. Frank, just checking. Yeah, he took Cardinals. I'm taking Cardinals. Gentlemen, anyone looking at Houston?
Not at all, but wouldn't it be funny if Houston is the one to upset Arizona and there's nobody left in your survivor pool?
That's not happening. Oh, that'd be all tied. That'd be hilarious. Everyone should be on there.
You just need one person to take a different team.
Wow. Yeah. we all tie though, right? So, but yes, I'm good. I'm sure this spread's going to open at like 15.5, something like that.
I'd
17 and a half.
Yeah, it's got to be almost 20.
I was close.
It's got to be close to 20 for sure.
17 and a half.
That's
Arizona.
what it's listed at right now, 17 and a half.
Yeah.
Wow.
On
that
ESPN.
might be the
That's
biggest
gonna go
spread
up.
I've seen.
That's going to go up.
Wow. All right. Across the board, Cardinals. That was easy. Then we got the
Bears and the Bucks.
Yes. So this one here, the Bears at the Buccaneers. You got the 3-3 Bears at the 5-1 Buccaneers. I am taking the Bucks. Frank is taking the Bucks. Gentlemen?
Phil is taking the Bucks.
I'll continue the trend. Nick is taking the Bucks.
Okay, that's another one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I already took the Bucks in Survivor, so I can't take them this week. No. The Sunday Nighter. Are they switching games out yet, or are they always gonna be what they are still? When do they do the switch outs? I'm curious. Not that they should switch this one out. No,
I know.
I'm just saying in general.
I knew you would have been much clearer about your chirp. It wouldn't have been so subtle. I think they start doing it midway through the season, depending on what's going on. But okay, I've never really noticed.
They should have done it on this Sunday night because that Steeler game was boring.
I think it was too short notice.
Yeah,
being a week out. But I mean, if the Steelers have a Monday, or the Seahawks, have a Monday night game this week against the Saints, and I'm surprised
that should be switched.
Yeah, without Russell Wilson, I'm surprised that wasn't switched out for, say, the Baltimore game.
I don't know.
That's going to be a boring Monday night.
Anyways, so in the Sunday nighter, we got your San Francisco 49ers at home, and the Colts are visiting. We got two teams. One team's 2-4, the Colts. The other team's 2-3. Phil, we'll let you start.
I am 100% taking my San Francisco 49 IRs.
You're not biased at all. Nick, who are you taking?
Man, I like the 49ers. I do. Oh, coming off the bye. Do we know if it's going to be Jimmy G again?
I think it's Jimmy G.
If Jimmy G is ready to go, currently listed as questionable, he will be the starter.
Yes. Okay. Give me the Colts.
Because of Jimmy G?
No. Just because I think the Colts are playing a little.
It didn't matter. He was taking the Niners. He just wanted some information.
Just wanted to know.
Frank's taking the 49ers. I am also taking the Colts.
Split. Okay. And then we got the Monday.
And the Monday nighter, the New Orleans Saints at the Seattle Seahawks. Saints are 3-2. Seahawks are 2-4. Frank has decided to take the Saints. I hate taking the Saints. So I'm going to say Seahawks just because I don't want to take the Saints.
You're going to forfeit a point just because, I like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you don't pick anyone because of bias.
Yeah, but when I pick my bias, I mean, they still do. I'm not forfeiting a point. I'm picking the Saints.
I don't know if it's necessarily forfeiting a point.
No, it's not.
But I am taking the Saints for the reason that they're coming off of a bye.
Lone dog, yes. Don't worry. We're gonna.
Can we go through these buys though right now? Look at this: Buffalo Bills, Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings, Pittsburgh Steelers, Los Angeles Chargers, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars. But 5 out of those 6 teams,
5 good teams, and then the Jags
are like
5
every fantasy player is like on your team. It's ridiculous.
Hey, the Jags have a good bunch of people on waivers too. So. Anyways,
ridiculous.
It should be another fun week of football. Hope you guys enjoyed our show today. That's everything from us. We gave you guys a lot in this one. You had a lot of fantasy content, a lot of picks. At the end of the day, actually, Phil, can you let them know who won last week's picks? Because you didn't tell everybody who won.
Oh, that's true. Well, I mean, let's be honest. You don't win until the end of the season. But I won the week.
Now, I mean, somebody won the week.
I know you couldn't finish the episode without me mentioning this. Heaven forbid. But James did win the week. Hey, James. Woo. James had 11 right. Nick came in second with 10, and Frank and I split at 9.
The reason why I did that is because I don't feel so confident with my picks this week, so I'm just going to get that up there.
Well, we'll do a weekly recap about who's in the lead, and you can see the totals on our Instagram page.
Yes, sounds good. Well, gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. Thank you guys for listening to us this week, and we'll be back with more next week. So have yourselves a good night, and go Cowboys. Oh, wait, they're on a bye. But go Cowboys anyways.
Go Niners. You guys are 49er fans this week. I've been supporting you. Dak for MVP.
Didn't we both just take the Colts against?
I did. Can I change my pick? I feel bad now.
No. You can pick who you think's going to win, but you just have to cheer for San Fran.
Yeah, but if I cheer for San Fran, I want them to win then.
I'm going Colts this week just because I want to go against you.
Nick, do you do your picks based on who you want to win or who you think's going to win?
Well, I want to win.
Oh. Nobody check Nick's picks.
How many do I have there, Phil? Do I have 10? Or am I ahead of you?
Wanted to win was better than what you thought was going to win.
Exactly. So. My 10 got better than your 9, so that's all I know.
That's true.
Oh, man. All right, enough of this, gentlemen. Have yourselves a good night, everybody listening. You guys have a good day. Take care.
We'll see you next week. Ciao.